It's okay, I'm not.
Good. Hello, welcome to the Nanowrimo live stream.
Hi.
Part 2. Yay!
Part 2.
Yep, so we're here at the Adelaide City Digital Hub for the next few hours to get your words pumping, hopefully get some stuff done. I'm Mary, I'm one of the YA Jungle co-hosts, and I'll let you guys introduce yourselves after. I'm doing a...
Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm writing YA fantasy this year. It's not going as well as I had hoped. I'm not going to hit the 50k unless I just write forever until... I know, I'm sorry. Until the end of the month, but that's okay. I'm enjoying the time I have here. This is my other co-host from YA Jungle, Simone.
Yes, hi, I'm Simone, also in the YA Jungle. Probably seen me before. My hair is still purple. I am writing a YA dystopia novel. I am 5,000 words behind, but I'm still confident I can make it because I've turned it around before. And yeah, I just need a good couple days.
And she's one of our MLs.
Yes, I'm also that. I have a badge.
Yeah, she's an Adelaide ML.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm one of the other MLs for the Adelaide region, and I forgot my badge today, but
For shame.
I was here last time, so everyone should remember me.
Yeah. Introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know, what your novel's about. Are you ahead? Are you behind? Are you enjoying it? Are you not? It's a whole thing. Excited to see who we've got writing with us today. So I basically wanted to start off with a bit of a sort of talking about how the last few weeks have gone, but I do have some ground rules to run through first. If you're online, we will ask you if you want to share your word counts, if you want to share excerpts of your book. Just please keep everything G-rated because this is a inclusive, family-friendly event. So just keep that in mind with anything that you're posting. Yeah.
So no swears.
No swears.
No R-rated content.
No.
You can send that to me privately though, to my email.
So yeah, how's the last few weeks been for you guys?
You know what is the hardest thing I learned this year so far? Like having a job during Nano is so hard. Previously I've been like studying or unemployed, and it's way easier. But when you have like a 9 to 5, like I underestimated how draining it is.
Yeah.
And then you get home and you're like, I'm gonna write, and then you fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then you do that for 5 days in a row. Not good.
Yeah, I'm working 6-day weeks at the moment, which is part of the reason that I'm behind. Part of the other reason is just, it's who I am as a person, and I've accepted that. So yeah, it is super hard to manage other things. And
yes, especially if you have, like a family and responsibilities, and I don't know, like a partner that you should interact with sometimes.
Maybe occasionally. My husband's a widower during November, but that's fine.
He never sees you.
Yeah. How are you going, Ali?
I am behind as of last week. I was sort of hovering in the little bit ahead, a little bit behind range, and now I'm behind by like a couple days, but knowing how next week's going to go, I'm not going to catch up.
Yeah, it's a real harsh one because Nano ends on a Friday, which is my day off. So I'm planning a big, like last year I did an 8K like 30th and caught up in a go line. It was fine. I don't want to have to catch up by that much, but like I have the time if I can. But like when we're not ending on a weekend. When it's midweek, it's like, if you're already behind and you're working, it's kind of, it's a real struggle.
Hard. Yeah.
My Wednesdays are particularly bad for that. So full day of work and then just not having time to finish up afterwards. Not fun.
No.
Yeah, it's good. And I guess part of that is I wanted to recap some of the Nano OH&S things about writing. I know there's been a lot of people who in the group have potentially written too hard and exacerbated some health conditions. So, if you don't get the 50k, then that's fine. We're going to talk about, like celebrating your wins, whether or not you hit 50k or not. But, make sure, especially in this last push, that you are still taking care of yourselves. You're taking breaks, you're using ergonomic workspaces, you are like taking time out to do things for you and like seeing people who are not your laptop.
Eat food, eat real food.
Yeah.
Like don't just microwave everything. Don't just Uber Eats everything. It's very expensive. You don't want to like come out of Nanowrimo and also be very poor.
In debt.
Definitely don't hunch up in front of a laptop screen when you're this tall.
Don't write on a couch.
It's not good for your
We're not giving a good example right now of how you should write, but Yeah.
No, we have little upset tables though. I think this
Yeah.
helps.
That's good
It's
for Ali.
It's stable. So Ali, you
I
need
have
to
high knees.
step up your
Yeah.
game. Well, there you go.
It's the same height.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's important to look after yourself because you know if you don't, then you won't be around to edit your novel, and then it'll be a waste. So
Yeah, no one can read it then.
no one wants to like
great.
publish your first draft. To do like a half-a-league and you know.
Yes, I was talking about Callie. 33K in 60 minutes. There is some regrets. Yeah. Good achievement, but yeah.
Yeah.
We just want you guys to take care of yourselves and be healthy and happy and not have to have December as a recovery month because December is not a good month to recover.
No, because it's very intense,
Yeah.
especially if you're a family that celebrates Christmas, especially if you're someone who has to like actually, you know, do the Christmas things, like bake things, host parties, buy presents. I haven't started buying presents.
It's a whole thing.
Thinking about it till December.
All
it's
right.
going to be a terrible rush.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? Any intros? No? Oh, good. All right, we might throw it open to a sprint. So we're going to kick it off. We're going to be running 15-minute sprints today, except for one large one in the middle where people who are with us in reality land can go off and get lunch and have a break, and you guys can do that too. So yeah, we're going to be running 15-minute sprints. If you haven't done NaNoWrimo before and you're not familiar with the sprints, I made Ali explain it last time, I think. Do you want to explain what a sprint is this time?
Yeah, so a sprint is basically a period of focused writing where all you do is write. You don't backspace, you see those typos, you just leave them. Just leave them. Just keep going. Power through.
Write it again correctly.
Rewrite the sentence 3 times, but don't delete them until after the sprint, or even after Nano if you're that committed. But yeah, it's just like you have set times where you just write and kind of see how many words you can do. Yeah, that's literally, it's very simple. Anyone can do it. All you need is a timer and some self-control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works well. And there's a lot of apps that
good.
help you do things like that. There's Pomodoro technique, and the forest one was quite a popular one that got brought up last time.
Yep.
But yeah.
Callie had some trees that she killed.
Yeah. But also that she grew.
had some trees that she grew.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we'll bring up 15 minutes on the clock. Now we're going to do a visual prompt. So if you're in the chat, it will appear on your screen. If you are in with us in real life, it'll be on the TV on the back roll.
That's impressive this week.
So this is just a prompt to sort of show, you know, maybe it'll give you some ideas about what to write with.
So well for my ghost nanny story.
Oh, you switched to that story.
I have switched to ghost nanny.
Yeah,
maybe Ghost Nanny finds another ghost, or maybe someone's mocking Ghost Nanny by pretending to be a ghost.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't be racist.
Is she even a ghost at all? Is she just a woman in a sheet?
Maybe. Maybe she wandered into some laundry and people are just like, wow, it's a ghost. And then she's looking after children.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
What a great time.
Yeah.
I'd watch a show about that.
Would you?
Maybe a little bit.
All right, there we go. Now we've got it up in the chat. Excellent. So yeah, spooky ghosts.
Spooky ghost.
Or maybe it's a sheep. Maybe somebody's pulling a prank.
Maybe it's just bad laundry day.
Maybe. Somebody's lost their sheets. All right, guys, we're going to do 15 minutes sprinting, and we're going to start now-ish. Maybe.
Go.
Go. All right. Stop writing,
Stop.
guys.
Stop writing.
How'd
Hands
you
off
go?
keyboards.
Yep.
Stop.
Yeah, I would've
What?
said
Don't drop your laptops.
how did you go with your writing? Post your word counts in the chat if you want to share anything that you've written. Then, you know, pop that in there too and read
Favorite
it out.
lines.
Yep, favorite lines. Something cool that happened.
Something like big events. Did somebody die? That's always a fun one.
Yeah, I wrote 48 words.
Woo!
Yay! I am the resident underachiever on this panel, which is fine.
Oh.
We have a new addition, as you may have noticed at the end. Do you
Ali,
want to
change.
introduce?
The shorter, cuter Ali.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick for those who might not know you?
I'm Mel. I write under Callie. I am the panel overachiever at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm middle road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still in
Love
I
it.
think we're
average
sitting in
amount.
order there.
Yeah, we are sitting in order. It's
That's worked out
excellent.
really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 408 words that session.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share with the class?
My character's being propositioned by a man who's all just like, hey, we'll get married, but I won't sleep with you. We'll just like, you know, just come to my balls and have a wing of your house. And she's like, this seems too good to be true.
What's the catch? Yeah.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah. How did you go, Mel?
423.
Nice job.
Yeah, well,
We've got a lot of.
there you go.
So we've got 302, 335, 378, 457 in the chat, 428, 388, 279.
Nice.
Love it. Lainey did 504.
Woo!
Nice.
This is good.
Dialogue. Really, I struggle with dialogue. Dialogue scenes are always like my, the ones that I struggle to write. Like if I'm describing something, I'm like, yeah, all the words happening. So I find that quite.
No, I'm really good at dialogue. This time I was trying to be, I don't know, this is like a harder dialogue scene to write, but I guess I'm just being more considered with my exchanges. Also, they're both speaking in kind of like, you know, double meanings. So that's a whole level of thinking.
You have to double think.
Double
Yeah,
think.
because they're having a conversation while like someone's watching, so it's like, you know, you got to be subtle about it.
Exactly. You can't just be like, so how about we plot to overthrow everybody?
Yeah, you kind of be slightly more, you know,
Yeah.
incognito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
My people are eating breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So
Classic.
they're talking about, they're like reminiscing about their childhoods and about how not great they were.
Oh wow.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good. My princess, my main character, is basically, she's at the point where the queen of the country that she's wound up in is like, so any advice on how to make sure we don't go to war since you've run off and wound up here and like suddenly engaged to my son? She's like, yeah, my dad hates me and any advice I give you will probably have the opposite effect. So that's not great.
I always love those places where like the adults ask the teenagers like, so what do you think will work?
Oh, it sounds like it's written by a teenager who's like, I wish someone asked me for my advice.
Yeah.
Although now as an adult, I'm like, why would I ask a teenager for anything?
Teenagers know a lot of cool stuff.
Some of them do.
Yeah, so
You're
Kate
not running a country though, oh my god.
Wrote 632.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I feel like we need to get Ali back in so he can do the readouts. The rich smell of loam, rotting leaves, and fear rose up to meet him. The stench caught in his nostrils and threatened to choke him.
Ooh.
I like it. I like it. That's really good.
And
Destiny says, my character's going to trade stuff so she can eat for the day. She's a scavenger to survive.
Yeah,
Legit.
sounds fun.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Very intriguing.
And I do enjoy eating. That is a
Yes,
thing.
eating is a very important thing.
So yeah, we want to talk in this section about celebrating your wins, whether or not you hit 50k, which, you know, I'm not going to hit
I'm
50k.
there.
Mel's already
You're already
there.
there.
Yeah, Mel hit it a week ago.
The 15th.
Yeah, the 15th.
Wow.
She's a resident overachiever.
Are you trying to get to 100k by the end of?
Yeah, but now I'm way behind.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
I should be at about 80 and I'm on 63.
that's still good. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I think. Oh.
I'll get there.
Posh is just
hopefully.
very jealous. I can't speak. No,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Where are you, Simone, in your...
I am currently at 38,364.
Mostly.
I'm a little bit behind, but
Yeah.
like I'm confident I can pick up.
That's what, 2 days?
Yeah, it's about 2 days. I'm surprised, considering I barely wrote for 4 days, that I'm only 2 days behind. Just having a big weekends is how
Yeah.
I manage that.
I like that the site tells you how much you need to write each day to finish on time. And
Yes.
it's never actually
Yeah, if you
as
look at
scary
your...
as you think it is.
Yeah, if you look at your... Well, mine's pretty scary at the moment. But...
Oh, what is yours? We need to find that number.
Yeah. So if you're on the Nanowrimo website, you can go to your stats page and that will tell you a whole lot of interesting things about your book. And how many you need to write? I have to write 5,354 words a day to finish on
that
time.
is scary.
That is scary, but that's okay, because I know I'm not going to hit the 50k, and I'm okay with that, because I guess the good thing about Nano is, well, one, most writers don't actually hit that number. Like, it's quite a, like, I think the highest number of writers who've ever succeeded was like around 20% one year.
Yeah.
Most times we are in like the, you know, the sort of the 15 to 12%, I think, of writers who actually hit 50k. But I don't really see it as a failure that I don't get there, because one, I know my limits, and two, I'm still, what am I, 16,000 words? Yeah, 17,000 words more than I had at the start of the month.
Yeah.
Which is a huge undertaking.
I think a lot of like professional authors and stuff are very, like, they don't write an entire novel in a month necessarily. No. Like, some do, and that's cool, but like, you know, a lot of people, I think, the average output can be like a year or 2 years for like a single book.
Yeah.
Obviously not just the draft, that can be like redrafting and, you know, the other stages as well. But yeah, like, don't feel like if you can't make it that you're never going to make it as an author, because that's not true. I know V. Schwab has talked about, she no longer counts her word counts. She writes every day, but she counts her time spent in the book. And that's planning, that's thinking about stuff.
So it's, I've spent 2 hours working on this rather than...
Because for her, counting words pedantically isn't helpful.
Yeah.
And it's good to recognize your own process. And I think Nanowrimo can help you work out whether or not word counting, you know, is for you or not. That's still a thing that you achieved, even if, you know, you don't win, you still learned how you work, and that's very important.
Yeah, and I've got bits of writing that I'm proud of, that I've, you know, done in this time. And I think as well, it's really hard, especially in a type of thing like Nanowrimo, because it is a personal challenge. You're only up against yourself, but then you see people who do just excel at it. Like Mel, for instance, has already hit the 50k, and it's really hard sometimes to sort of be like, well, I'm not good enough, or that. And I think you really just sometimes need to have a step back if you're feeling that way, and just look at what you have done. So to that end, I'm going to ask you some questions, and feel free to participate if you want to. Post them in the chat if not. What is your favourite scene or moment in your novel so far, if you want to share that with us? I think mine is not so much a scene, but it's working out. I've sort of worked out a lot more about how, like, because I'm very like visual in terms of how I enjoy describing things, but I've worked out how a lot of my characters look and the scenes look for me, and that's a really good thing for me, because I do work that way. If I've worked that out, I feel like it's a big achievement for me, because then I find it a lot easier to write. So I've got this mountain kingdom, and I've sort of planned out now. Before it was just like, oh yeah, there's a mountain and there's some people and it's fun. But now I've sort of worked out, you know, like how you get in there, like how the tunnels work. They've got like steam powered lifts. There's the royal quarters is about halfway up, and there's like a big, you know, like open area that you essentially can't climb up this, or can you climb up the side? Whoa. And like just I've thought about it, and like I've got a really good picture in my mind now about how that is, and that's, I think, probably the favourite thing that I've taken away from Nano
really cool.
this year. How about you?
I have a number of different, like, scenes I really enjoy. I think my favourite is probably where my character and her love interest first meet, which is where he is having broken into her house, and she stumbles upon him and attempts to attack him with like knitting needles, but she doesn't want to. She considers this. She's like, I don't want to kill this person because then I have a body in the house, and what do I do with that? I just want to scare him.
Yeah.
And his kind of first reaction is to be like, oh, what the F? It's swearing on my book, I'm sorry. And just freak out. And it just kind of detracts from the moment, and it's just really kind of funny and cute.
Yeah, a nice scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought just the threat of violence is lightly kind of fun. It makes sense in the context of the book, it's fine.
How about you, Mel?
My characters, there's a scene where at the start of every chapter, she has a vision about how she's going to die, but you get only a snippet right at the start of the book, and you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. It's probably not going to happen. Yeah. And then it gets a little bit more rounded, and she gets a little bit more descriptive of it happening, right up until the bit where she gets a final whole vision all at once when the man who's going to kill her is standing in front of her.
Oh.
And then she's like, oh no, I just said you could live here.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like Lainey said that she had a breakthrough moment when she switched from third to first person POV, and now her protagonist has a personality, which I guess helps.
That's always good.
Yeah, you definitely want your protagonist to have a personality.
Oh, Kate says, I'm enjoying figuring out everything about my characters and my world. I already know that the main things that happen from the first draft, but figuring out how everything goes together is the most fun. I think that's good.
Yeah.
And when you're revising, that can be, you know, part of the next step, like going back and reevaluating what you have and maybe trying to make it actually work.
That's the thing about Nano, right? So when you get to sit down and to write and somebody's like, so what are you writing? And you explain it and you go, oh, I just solved my own problem.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
It's the same thing as like, well, when you're like in uni and stuff, and they were like, if you like explaining something to somebody else helps you learn it better.
Yeah.
Which is why like study groups are very helpful. If you're in uni, this is my big tip. Have a study group. Yeah, explaining your plot to other people can help you understand it a lot more. Because just like, it fits it together in your head. I don't know, as you're trying to work out how to put it together. It's writing as you go, I guess.
I did cause an issue though. So Cora, who's another overachiever, she was about to write her second plot and she was asking for people to create superhero characters. So I gave her a description of this person I'd imagined and it spun off into a new plot.
Yeah.
And derailed everything.
Yeah. But it's
So,
exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait to see what she does with that character.
Yeah.
But her fully fleshed out plot is now sitting in hibernation while she gets this other one going.
That's so good. What are you most proud of? Like, what is it of this month? Like, is it that you've written the most number of words you've ever done? You've tried something new that's worked out, a new kind of character that you write? I think for me, I am still most proud of the fact that I have hit 17,000 words, and I'm going to hit more before the end of the thing. Because that is being the resident underachiever. Like, that's still a lot of words for me. And if you watched our stream last time, we had Margot McGovern do an excellent pep talk, and she's very similar to me. She doesn't write quite a lot, but anything that she does write is, you know, important to her. And she's, I think, hit 10K the other day. So, and for her, that's a really exciting achievement, and it's really good because she does have the, you know, she has a child and all this sort of stuff. So
Outside stuff.
might not have hit the 50K, but still really proud of what I've achieved this month.
Yeah, I'm really proud. My story is actually the novelization of something I wrote for my honours thesis, which was 2 years ago, and I kind of wanted to like expand it for the last couple of years, but I was just too like hungover from honours to actually even look at it.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud that I'm able to go back and come to it again and have like new ideas and kind of explore some of the things I was looking at in that time, and I don't know, create these new exciting characters and explore my dystopian, terrifying new Victorian world.
I think for me it's writing consistently, with the exception of the last few days, which have been pretty low word counts. For me, writing every single day is good, because normally I write, I hit 50K and then I stop for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, you know, everyone catches me up a bit, and then I start writing again for the last week.
Yeah, Kate said, Lainey said she was really proud of updating every day, even if it wasn't the allocated word. And I think that's great, like having the consistency to sort of writing every day or writing consistently, doesn't have to be every day, is how novels get written. So,
just plodding along. It's the people that don't quit that write novels, ultimately.
I love it.
Keep doing.
Just having a look through thing.
Yeah, that's pretty active.
Andrew, it's his first nano. He's only got about 5,000 words to go to get the win. So that's excellent.
Very exciting, especially for your first nano. Like my first nano, every nano, I've always won on the last day.
Yeah.
And it's always been like, ooh, I'm actually going to make it this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, to be so ahead already, like that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really good. What did you learn? Did you surprise yourself this month? Did you learn something new? Did you learn something that worked for you? That's something that didn't work for you? Yeah.
I learned not to change tenses all the time.
That can be a thing.
It's my every year. I'm like, I'm going to write in this style. No, it's not working. Go back to the other one. Oh no, I'll try it again. Doesn't work. You can't keep changing and rewriting the same chapter over and over.
Yeah.
I've had most of my other nanos that I've won in, I've written pretty much straight from the start all the way through in chronological order. And this year I've sort of been picking and choosing my scenes a little bit more. So yeah, I haven't got the win, but I feel like I'm working out things better.
No random insert?
Yeah, I have less random inserts, which was a thing that would happen occasionally. I do notice though that I tend to stop and I'll write and be like, okay, no, this is story, and now I've just had a thing to work out how this plot works, so I'm going to put that in my notebook. And so yeah, I think I just learned my limits as well this year, being okay with, you know, what I'm okay with.
I think I've just learned more about how to try and balance writing and other life things like working regularly, and yeah, learning maybe that, you know, maybe to lower my expectations for things like weekdays, but then try to put more time aside on weekends, and hopefully not fill them up 100% with social engagements.
Which is hard this time of year.
It is hard.
Destiny said they learned that inspiration comes from many places. Do you want to elaborate on that one a bit, Destiny? I mean, I get a lot of my stuff comes from interactions with people as well. But yeah, where do you guys get yours from?
Books I read. Like almost every time I'm reading during Nano, like some aspect of the thing I've read will end up in Nano. So I just finished reading also Ghost and Fury, which is a great book, excellent book, dystopia set in kind of Italy. And there's a bit where one of the characters gets stabbed, and then when I was writing, I'm like, my character should be stabbed, and she's gonna have to like solve the wound. This would be like a nice scene. And it was a good scene. Bit of blood just makes everything work. So that's good.
Kate learned that she's a planner and she needs to plan well in advance.
Yes.
Which is an excellent thing to learn, because if you do need to have that sort of structure in order to write well, like that's a really good thing to know, because that way you can work with that going forward, which is like great. Or if maybe you tried planning and you always thrown out, maybe if you tried pantsing it this year and just writing whatever and that worked really well for you, that's also really great too. Like everyone writes different ways.
Yeah, it's good to be aware.
I hate writing myself into a corner.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? This is a great idea. I'm going to go off on this tangent. I go, oh no, that was a bad plan.
That's a bad plan.
Come back, go a different direction.
Yeah. I'll find ways to turn it around, or like pivoting.
Yeah.
Pivot.
Yeah.
Pivoting.
I found one of my things I got stuck into like a dead end, and I was like, this is such a boring scene, I don't like it. And then I knew there was like a drama beat coming up, so I just brought it forward. I was like, this might be in 3 chapters time. I'm like, no, let's do it now.
Yeah.
And then it became interesting again.
Yeah.
So
I guess if you're bored writing it, somebody's going to be bored reading it. So
and it's you need to like I guess it's tempting to want to consider structure and pacing and stuff, and that's all great. But you can overplan sometimes, and sometimes you can just like throw away your plan and
I watched some teenagers interacting in one of my classes the other day, and I was like, this is actually dialogue I can use, because they were on 2 completely different wavelengths and getting so angry with each other, and they were on the same side of the argument. And at the end, one of them goes, wait, did you mean like we're both on this? And the other one's like, yeah. And they're like, oh. But they're just still too angry with each other to realise.
That's really cool, like little interactions.
Did you write it down just as like taking notes as they were like arguing?
Yeah, they're like, what are you writing? Why aren't you stopping us? Like, shh.
Keep going.
This is fine.
All right, guys. We might start another sprint. We'll do another 15 minutes. So I'll bring that up. Now I'm we're going to use this image, I think. Which is a dude on top of a plane wreck, and there's fancy colours. It's like an aurora, but not an aurora.
Light pollution.
Down in the country, in your kitchen.
You can tell it's light pollution because the clouds are lit.
There you go. A resident expert.
I wish.
So all right, we're going to do another 15 minutes. We're going to start now.
Stop. Everyone, stop writing. Stop writing. Hands up. Do it. Do the happy dance. Yeah, great. Excellent. That was a good session. How many words did you guys do? Right in the chat. What'd you do, Ellie?
601.
Oh, God, you're an achiever. How dare you?
Not really.
I got 331.
It's pretty good.
That's solid. Ellen got 270. My Insanity got 293. Lainey got 465. Andrew 272.
That's
Still
a
good.
smile. You should smile.
You should smile. Don't have an unhappy frown emoji. Unhappy frown. They're always unhappy.
Could be an indifferent frown. It's hard to tell with emojis.
Anyone else reporting? Kate, did you write? I'm calling you out. Right time got 329. Ariel got 267. He got 304. Destiny got 451. Yeah, I think this is all like a pretty solid effort. I think between 3 and 5 seems to be everyone's the group average writing for, what did we do? 15? Was that 15? 10? I don't know. 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
It was.
You were here.
Yes, time seems like a weird bubble in the moment. Yeah, well, that's great, everyone. You all did so well. I'm very proud of you all. Hopefully, any kind of lines you want to talk about, or any things that happened? Did you get through a difficult plot thing? Dialogue slowing you down, Ariel? Yeah.
Yep. Dialogue
Yeah.
does that.
I feel that sometimes. Usually it's easy, but not all the time. Ups and downs. That's the writing process for you. Nope. Anyone else? No.
You know what, thanks.
No, that's all right. So, while we wait for Adam Cece to, oh wait, Lainey sent us the thing. Dialogue. Okay, this is getting us nowhere fast. The airlock is looking more tempting by the minute. I like it. I'm assuming they're on a plane. This is a very exciting moment.
All right. Shall I read?
Yeah, you read this one.
At least this was a path he was choosing of his own free will, not a path he'd been almost pushed on.
I like it. This is very intriguing. I want to read all of your novels. Please finish them and send them directly to me. I will provide my email in the
Simone will
comments.
start her own publishing company.
To steal everyone's books. No.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, yeah, while we wait for Adam to arrive, we're going to do some chatting. What are we talking about?
We're talking about writing all year round.
Of course.
Because you can write in November.
Yep.
That's what we're doing right now. But you can continue writing in December. I've heard it is a thing.
Some people do indeed write outside of November.
And I think
it's
that is
crazy.
absolute madness. But let's give it a go.
Well, why don't we talk about you? Because you mostly write in November.
I mostly write in November.
Yeah. Because it's just you love Nano.
I like Nano.
And you're happy with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's a way to go. That's cool. I write all year round. Well, you know, off and on. I'm not good at consistency. I'm the most consistent in November. I'd like to become one of those people that writes like 365 days a year. Because I feel like, you know, if you want to make a career as a novelist, which I do, then that's kind of the best way to go about it. But yeah, you can, I think writing different times of the year though is also different. Like, so in Nanowrimo, you have like a set goal, you've got your words. You know, it's easy to, I think, sometimes compartmentalize your life a little bit. And then when you've got like a community like we do here in Adelaide, it makes it a lot easier because everyone's kind of, you know, working on the same thing. You can have write-ins, you can stay at people's houses and drink a lot of gin and then you have to write. Yeah, I think the community feel really helps you in Nano, and sometimes it drops away outside of November and that can make it a lot harder. So I guess if you're someone who wants to write year-round, what are some things that you would need to keep doing that?
Yeah.
If you were that hypothetically, Ali?
Well, I found that with Nano, I'm at best a planner, like a serious planner.
Yeah, so taking the time to plan.
So taking that time to plan and having people to talk to.
Yeah, and I think that's where I think Nano can be a good stepping stone for finding writer groups and like friends that you can keep interacting with year round. If you also find people who are also writing year round.
Yep.
So you're kind of all on the same level. So me and Mary do the YA Jungle, which is something just like what we're doing right now. It's a stream. Usually it's only an hour or a little bit more, depending on, you know, how late we're running. And we try and do that. We're doing that once a month from now on, where from January, we're taking a break in December, apparently, because Mary is very busy with all Christmas and family things, and work, retail jobs.
Waving her hands around. It's a busy
Learning
busy
this
life.
as you are right now. Yeah, and so you'll be able to join us if you're finding this experience helpful for you. The sprints, the people talking at you through a computer, stumbling through things.
Inspirational pictures.
The inspirational pictures that we carefully troll through on Splash. Beautiful times. Beautiful free stock photography. Yeah, so that's, one of the things that maybe you'll will help you. Otherwise, yeah, like the Facebook groups are good. In Adelaide, we have like the NaNoWrimo Facebook group.
For the region.
Which
is good.
You might have your own region if you're not in Adelaide. We may have had
some writing groups spin off from that in the past that can get resurrected and
come in, fade away. It depends on how people
are writing.
But usually those are groups you can, even like actually NaNoWrimo have an official Facebook group now, like the global group. There used to be some unofficial groups with some interesting drama. The official group is cool, and people seem to post in it pretty like actively through the year, so you can post your questions and have interact with writers that way, or find people IRL.
And last year some people in Adelaide alone were asking if there are any Adelaide writing groups, and I just took a quick Google search and found a nice list of about 8 that were active in Adelaide at the time.
I think there are a lot, like another lot of community groups. I used to be part of one in my local library. It turned out not to be for me, but depending, that's okay. You can try a group, and if the people write something similar to what you work, maybe it works. And if they're, all retirees writing memoirs about their life, and maybe it's not going to vibe with your super fantastic space operas, then, that's okay too.
If you are writing a memoir about your life, there might be a group for you.
Then there are groups for you. I know.
There are groups
I can give you names. But yeah, we in Adelaide we have like the Writers Essay, as it's called now. Have links to groups. So like finding your local writing centre, there are a lot of organisations in Melbourne. They have like the Wheeler Centre. You can they have resources. You can maybe find some groups that might be advertising for new members. If you just look, you'll find more resources than you think you had available to you. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah. Otherwise, start your own.
Start your own. Actually, book clubs I think are also a good way to find people who might also be interested in the word things. Some people are, purely readers, and that's great. And some people are readers who also like to write. And then, if you all like the same things, you can get together and do both those things at the same time. Not at the same time, but like, maybe one after each other. Together.
It's hard to read and write simultaneously.
It is very hard. I wish I could do both, because then I would have less of a terrifying TBR mountain next to my bed that will one day crush me.
You think she's kidding?
No, it's like 360 books.
It's a lot of
I
books.
Counted again. Oh God. I need to stop having friends who work in bookshops who then hand me books that I have no self-control not to buy.
All right.
But so that's something you can do. Finding people can help you through the rest of the year. Keep that motivation. And maybe even be your beta readers and read things for you and tell you if they're terrible or if they're good. Hopefully they won't say they're terrible. Hopefully they'll be more tactful than that.
Yes.
And be like, this could use improving in this way. And not just be like, bad book, let's burn it with fire. Don't be friends with those people. Those are not helpful to your process. Unless they are, but maybe you're a masochist. I don't know.
Or you could just be that bad a writer. It is potential.
Like what?
It's potentially true.
I mean,
you could just be that bad a writer.
I don't think so. I don't believe anyone's, so bad that they couldn't work at it. Everyone has potential.
Yes.
I'm very optimistic in this.
We'll be optimistic.
You're a teacher. You should be optimistic about your students' potential.
I am.
But yeah.
So,
Camp NaNoWrimo.
Camp
We should
NaNoWrimo.
also talk about this. So NaNoWrimo officially throughout the year have 2 very similar NaNoWrimo events, but they're camp events.
Yep.
What makes them different to a regular NaNoWrimo?
Well, NaNoWrimo was the original National Novel Writing Month. Historically, they also had Script Frenzy for writing scripts, screenplays, stage plays, etc. That got folded, if we keep with our paper theme, a couple of years ago. They also have a flexible camp NaNoWrimo program, which ran in July. Now we have two camps a year.
So there's 2 opportunities to try
April
and fail.
And July, where you can write whatever you like for however many words you like. And now you can even have options for like writing page numbers or hours writing instead of just being aiming for the 50,000 words.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I like that you can set your own target. Usually I set it to something lower than 50,000 because I know that for some reason I'm not as good at completing the challenge. I still haven't won a camp actually.
Yeah.
I've tried like 6 different camps and
I've tried a few and I
never
haven't
make it.
made my even quite minimal targets.
I think also it's hard because like July is my birthday and my dad's birthday, and like I have a lot of my family birthdays are also in April, and it's like, thanks family, you've taken up all of my free time with your life things I have to participate in. So frustrating. But you know, I think trying is important.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to try next year in both those camps.
Yeah.
I'll probably fail again.
And
but you know, it'll inch by inch. You get there.
As opposed to the regional version with Nanowrimo, the camps allow you to create small cabins. You can create your own cabin with people you know already.
Cabin's like a little forum, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a mini forum, kind of like mini message board.
Like, I think 12 people is the max.
Think about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can allow the system to create your cabin with people anywhere.
Yeah, with complete randoms.
Yep, I've done that before, and
yeah.
I wrote some words. I think that was more me than them, but
it can be interesting if you're put in a cabin with people from different time zones, aka Americans, because they'll be active, you know, when you're sleeping, and then you'll be active and they're all sleeping. So sometimes, if you can form your own cabin or find some other people in time zone, if you want to have those interactions, then that's good. But also, if you're a night owl and you're nocturnal anyway, and maybe you want to be friends with Americans, that's a choice you can make. It sounds really judgy. I'm not judging.
So if you're planning on doing some writing next April, you can do Camp Nano.
You can do
and
camp.
July, and then do Nano again next year.
Just Nano all the time.
My successful win in 2015 was a story that I started in the July camp of 2015 and decided that I didn't like the way it was going. So I replotted it during the preparation months, aka September. And then in 2015 November, I wrote my first...
Was it your first win?
No, I just realised wrong year. That was 2014.
You're telling us a lie.
Yes, I told you a lie. My 2014 camp July was rewritten as my 2014 November win.
I mean, that's really cool. That's a good point though. You can start, maybe your camp can be you planning, if you want to be that person who, plans extensively, you could use it, especially if you're counting hours, and then prepare for Nanowrimo. You can prepare all year round for November and smash it out and get like 200,000 words like some people do.
Oh yeah. Last year my win was a rewrite of my 2016 novel. So I had the entire year to rework out what I wanted to do with it and work out why my characters were doing the wrong things, because they were clearly doing the wrong things. So I had to rewrite out the correct things for them to do.
That's really, I've never managed to complete a Nano that was a rewrite or a revision of another novel. But that's,
yeah,
that's me.
I mean, I'd only half written the first one, so I half and a bit wrote the next one.
Yeah. In the chat, what do we got? Callie has mentioned Nanowrimo, where people try to aim for 1 million words across the year. Wow.
I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I'm tempted to go Nanowrimo.
Nanowrimo. Oh. We need like a pronunciation guide.
Yeah, that's what happens when people try to make up things.
That sounds very intense.
1 million sounds like a lot.
Also like across like every single day, because that's like consistently writing 2,740 words a day, but like every day. Like that's high.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Like I've seen there's like a 750 words I think is quoted as like a doable daily word count. And if you do that every day, you have like a novel in a year.
Yeah.
That seems doable,
So
but like almost 3,000 words.
If you did Nano
3,000 is a high word day for me.
Yeah.
But
even if you only did Nanowrimo every month, that would only be 600,000.
Yeah, I mean also...
Which is a reasonable length novel.
Is 1 million words what? I mean, I have my novel draft that I'm trying to revise outside of Nano. When I finished that, it was 156,000 words, which is like probably twice as long as it should be for a young adult debut novel. So I wonder if 1 million words is like multiple novels, or if
I think 1 million might be a bit excessive for a novel. I think it could be like 6.
Then maybe that's how people write their entire series, and then they break it up. That's how George Martin
should do it.
If he was a fast writer at all and didn't just spend every moment not writing.
Yes.
despite the fact that people would literally kill for that final book. Yeah, I agree, Alan. 1,667, which is the NaNoWrimo daily thing, all year round would be far too much for me. I think it's important also to like take breaks from your writing sometimes. I mean, it's hard because like everyone works differently. Yeah. But if you're not the kind of person, and you know you're not the kind of person who can write every single day at such a high level, like don't feel bad for taking some time off. I like the novel, my main novel at the moment has taken me 10 years to write, which is probably too long, but also like I was very young when I started. And the like taking time to like not write and think about it has probably helped me come up with a lot, like make it better than if I was just kind of kept plodding along without that distance to really consider what I was doing and where things were going. But that's me. So if that's you too, then excellent. If it's not, then you do you, man. No judgment. All good.
Yes. Would you like me to read some of the little bits that I missed out on earlier?
Go through the chat. I'm sorry if I'm ignoring you. We're
Destiny
get to
mentioned that her, or his, character is at a pawn shop, and the character...
Is that P-A-W-N shop?
A pawn shop with a W, yes.
Yeah, just checking.
The place where you pawn in goods.
Because we're keeping it
She is
G-rated.
trading the stuff she has for currency. She can buy food to get a bath.
Like a bath? Like to buy an entire bath or to bathe?
I assume to bathe.
I mean, you know...
We can ask.
We can ask. I want a clarification on that.
And Kate has a short excerpt sentence. Do I do the voice?
Yeah, do the voice.
Do the voice.
Do the reading voice.
The Lion Prince was still smiling as he slammed his gauntleted fist into Evren's jaw.
I like it. I like the
Kate
smiling
approves.
Violence.
People are loving our live stream, which is great.
Oh, thanks guys. I love you too. So good. Thanks for joining me. And Ali.
Callie's mentioned that lower word counts also allow her to be more deliberate in her writing, which I would agree with. Most of my words this year have been very ranty.
Yeah, there are times where I'm just outright just explaining like the plot to myself, or like backstory, or like this is how the society works.
Earlier,
this is how this works.
Earlier in my first sprint, I was literally writing out how the legal system of my country works.
Yeah. It's you know, I mean, it's good to work that out, but in terms of when it's in the novel, you might want to be cutting that down and like sprinkling it through the rest of it, or I don't know, depending on the detail. You don't want to put everything in there. You don't. Readers don't need to know the ins and outs of the economy, unless that's the book you're writing.
Yes, the economy of.
Because like ultimately, the Star Wars prequels, to bring this to movies, was really just. It was a very like much a bunch of politicians arguing for 3 movies. And then also Anakin talking about how much he hates sand.
Yes.
And then dramatically turning to the dark side. But like a lot of the movie was just
like
it's politics.
In Harry Potter, you don't really care how the conversion rate for money works.
I mean, like you don't.
It's just they're fun. They're fancy.
I do have
fantasy.
questions though about that world.
No,
and, like,
no, don't question it.
I had a whole argument with a friend the other day.
There's
Like,
nuts,
how did like they were in the 90s and there was not one bit of 90s pop culture. Like, how did Hermione not know about the Spice Girls? She was a Muggle and she grew up with this. She should know.
Because the Spice Girls would have only existed from 95 onwards.
But when she goes home for the
That's like
holidays,
book 5.
she would have like heard music.
By then, she would have been studying.
No, I choose to believe there should have been like some slinkies. I don't know, something 90s, some Tamagotchis.
They were worried about Voldemort. That trumps Spice Girls.
I mean,
anyway,
nothing trumps Spice Girls. So there's some disagreements here.
I mean, yeah.
I think I'd risk Voldemort to see a Spice Girls concert. Can you believe they're coming back, but not Posh Spice? It's drama.
I think I can live without it.
Yeah, she wasn't my favorite anyway. Baby Spice was the way to go.
I mean, any of them.
How dare you? You're a terrible 90s kid.
Yep.
Anyway, back to the chat. Destiny says she wants to get clean. My character lives in the street in an overpopulated city. Also, literally like bathing. Then, yes, that makes sense.
Oh,
that makes more sense than buying a bath, especially as a scavenger. I think I was just caught on the idea of like someone trading everything in to buy like a really fancy like marble bath with like little golden feet. It's really impractical.
Of course, because that's totally what you would do.
You could just cut it around. I don't know.
All right. Well, are there any other things you would like to talk about in preparing to write?
Preparing to write. I usually just have to have my laptop open. I'm not one of those people that needs to like set up a space and like light my candle and put in a soundtrack. I'm a really bad procrastinator, so really it's just a lot of me just being like, no, we have to write now.
You should get rid of your internet connection.
No, but yes, probably. I do write the best kind of when I'm like in silence. Actually, I've been writing the most and the best is sitting on my bed with my laptop. Probably not the best posture-wise, but it's the most comfortable. And also, like, my study at the moment is full of crap, and I need to do a big clean out. But like, because it's so full of just like trash, not literal trash, but just like things and like a lot of yarn in bags that are just on the floor. I can't work there. It's too cluttered. So I guess I do need to be somewhere that's a little bit less cluttered. I procrastinated the other day by doing a big clean of my room and throwing out like, I had like 6 different makeup bottles that I'd used that were just cluttered in my room. I'm a bit of a hoarder. Anyway, back to the writing. Sometimes cleaning is necessary as part of my process, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, later on we're going to be looking at some books that have been published from Nano. But before we get that, what do you do if you don't want to be published?
I don't know. Yeah, what do you do? I don't know. I want to be published, so what do you do?
Well, I am writing for fun. Entirely writing for fun. I do it to get rid of my creativeness, get ideas,
yeah, it's an
get
outlet.
inspiration. The ideas are hitting you. You got to let it out as an outlet.
Is it like a de-stress thing sometimes?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I had this idea. That would be cool. Let's start writing it. And then stop.
So
and then
feel
start a new thing.
Compelled to write a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not planning on finishing anything at the moment. I mean, if I did finish something and it was good, I could try publishing it.
Yeah.
But I'd have to get to that stage first.
Would you maybe, like, because there are like presses where you can get your book, like just one copy of your book published for you. Would you do that maybe?
If I had something finished, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple
just
of friends
so you
who've
can have
done
it for
that.
yourself and like put it on your shelf and read it for you, and it doesn't have to be widely distributed.
Exactly.
It's just your thing. Yeah, that's nice.
Hmm.
I started writing like through fan fiction, and I got addicted to people's compliments. And so the whole process of like writing a thing and then posting it online and then people telling me how great I was. So I do want people to read my work. So I do want to be published. So, you know, that's me. But, you know, people write for different reasons. And that's fine. People like who, you know, I know who are doing Nanowrimo and doing fan fiction because they don't care about the, like, you know, making a career out of it or money. Like, they want to write the thing they want to write and they still want to share it with their communities. You know, participate in the fandom, which is entirely valid and a, you know, great way to live. I don't know what that was. Mario was just gesturing from across the room. But yeah, you know, that's fine. Everyone writes for different reasons. What are you guys in the chat? I don't know. You can, I promise I'll read you if you actually comment. I won't ignore you again, I'm sorry. I see other people are also keen in cleaning. Kitchen table is a good place to write. Yeah, I find that too. So it's like a good surface. It's like a nice distance from, you know, for posture and things.
All right, so
people write for fun. Yeah, and it goes online. That's good.
Well, speaking of writing, let's move into a 10-minute sprint.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Because otherwise we're not going to get any writing done.
That's true. It would be a lie to say this is a writing if we don't actually write.
Although people are writing currently. We're not.
They're doing really good.
We're talking to you guys.
I would like to write a little bit more. All right, so going to 10 minutes. We have a visual prompt. Ooh, this is nice. This is very.
Is it?
Well, it's like it's a. Oh my god! I saw Bohemian Rhapsody twice, and I'm obsessed with Queen now.
So we have a.
It's good. It's spooky.
Definitely.
It's moody.
Inspiring.
It looks.
I'm slightly intimidated by it.
Yeah.
But let's get started with that.
I like this neon backlight thing. It's good. All right. So everyone ready? You're inspired. Gonna go now.
All right, stop writing, guys. Hopefully that was a excellent sprint for you, even if it was a bit shorter. If you want to share your word counts, what you did, chuck them in the channel. If you want to write any sort of excerpts, any cool little sentences or paragraphs you came in, feel free to share that with us. I would like to introduce you to Adam Cece. He's a local children's author. He is the author of Wesley Booth, Super Sleuth, and also the Huggabee Falls series. He's been writing for a couple of years now. Yeah.
You mean published books?
Published
yeah,
book,
writing for just forever. But
yeah, it's good.
My first book came out about 3 years ago. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
So he's here to give us a little pep talk and hopefully get you excited about like doing whatever you need to do to get this novel done. I'm going to pass it over to Adam. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll get straight into it. Hi everyone. Hope you're all surging towards the finish line with NaNoWrimo. And we're now in that final zone. How many days have we got left? 4 days or something? 5 days.
Yeah.
Maybe some of you have already finished your 50,000 words, which is amazing, and you can claim your win. That's what we say, isn't it? Claiming the win. Mm-hmm. And if so, huge congratulations. What an amazing achievement. But even if you've only done like 1,000 words, even 100 words, you know, still huge congrats to you for taking part and giving it a go and just, you know, doing it, because NaNoWrimo isn't just about winning, it's also about pushing yourself and doing the best that you can do. So I feel like a bit of a fraud today because it's confession time.
Yeah.
I have never actually done NaNoWrimo before. I've always wanted to, but I've never done it, and I'll tell you why. It's because I used to be an obsessive plotter. Emphasis on the word used to be an obsessive plotter. When I say obsessive, I was a super plotter. So if plotting was an Olympic sport, I would have been Usain Bolt of plotting. I was ridiculous. I was such a heavy plotter and outliner that I would start writing and then I'd identify an issue with the plot and then I'd just go straight back to the drawing board or straight back to the plotting board, and I'd never actually end up getting anywhere. And I didn't realise it at the time, but for years my obsessive plotting was crippling my writing. And I was expending so much effort and energy in plotting that I never had the steam to keep going and actually finish the books. So I was running out of energy basically to finish my stories. And I'm sure plenty of writers out there in the room here or out there in internet land can relate to this, is that you half finish stories and you move on to the next project and you end up with a drawer of 100 half finished manuscripts.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged. And I never really realised that I was addicted to plotting, you know, and all these half finished manuscripts. And the idea of doing NaNoWrimo, because of my writing style and being addicted to plotting, was just terrifying. And because I think NaNoWrimo definitely advantages the pantster. Yeah, definitely. And so for a big plotter like me, it just felt impossible, and I wasn't sure if I could ever actually do it. But now I'll go back to the part where I said I used to be an obsessive plotter, because I'm living proof that a plotter can make the switch and become a pantster. Even someone with as heavy a plotting addiction as I have, someone who is a life member to Plotters Anonymous, you can make the switch and become a pantster. And I'm telling you it's possible because I have done it. And it's revolutionised my writing. Now, before I tell you my story, I have to state that I do not think there's a better way to do it. Plotting or pantsing, I think whatever works for you, writing is not a one-size-fits-all proposition. So this is just my story and how I could get some freedom by getting away from being an obsessive plotter. So some people are plotters and they produce amazing books. Some people are pantsters and they produce equally amazing books. And some people are plantsters. That's the term, isn't it? Plantsters, where they're somewhere in between and they found that works for them. But for me personally, being a plotter just wasn't working. And like I was saying, I'm sure there's plenty of watchers out there in the internet world who are probably in the same boat. So for me, the turning point was simple. All I really needed was someone I trusted, someone whose opinion I really valued, to show me the error of my ways. And for me, that person was Fiona McIntosh. For those who don't know Fiona, which probably isn't that many people, I suppose, she's a hugely successful commercial fiction. Commercial fiction. She specialises in mostly historical fiction these days, bit of romance and stuff. But she's written fantasy and crime, and we've got banging doors in the back. She's written fantasy, crime, children's books. Yeah, she's just one of Australia's most successful authors. And I attended her popular commercial fiction masterclass in 2014, and that was the week that changed my writing forever. That was the week I made the switch. She gave me some tough love. She got to know me that week and got to know my writing, and she saw that being an addicted plotter was holding me back from reaching my full potential. And she encouraged me to be, as she called it, a gunslinger. That's her term. She said, you've got to be a gunslinger, you've got to just go for it. And I bought along one of her books, so this is a bit of a plug for Fiona, one of her fantasy books, which was my favourite of her books. And she wrote in the front, for my new gunslinger, go Adam. So I remember that, and that was at the end of the masterclass. And during the masterclass, she introduced me to the idea of writing contracts. Now, I have to be careful what I say here because I don't want to give away Fiona's secrets, and she will be upset at me if I give away her secrets.
She knows where we are.
Yeah, her commercial fiction masterclass is like a transformative experience that is usually catered for each individual attendee. But one thing she commonly suggests is a very NaNoWriMo approach to your writing. So she says, break down your target words for a month. Figure out how many words you want to write, and then break it down to how many words you want to write each day. But unlike NaNoWriMo, she doesn't say just write as many as you can in the day. She says once you hit that word count for the day, you stop. Even if you're in the middle of a sentence, you just stop right on that word count for the day. And part of the reason she says that is so you save up some energy, I suppose. You don't like keep going and write 10,000 words all in one day and then say, right, that's it, I'm done for the month now, I'm going to have to stop. So yeah, she says you just stop, you go off and you do other stuff, and then you don't expend all your energy too early and get burnout or book fatigue or all the different terms you can use to describe it, and basically lose your enthusiasm for your project. And I thought, why not give this a go? I caught up with Fiona's infectious enthusiasm that she has, and frustrated that I've been writing for, I don't even want to say how old I am, but a long time. So I started making up, on Fiona's suggested, NaNoWriMo-like writing plans. And I got firm with myself. Fiona wasn't there to give me the tough love after that week, so I had to be strict with myself, and I had to be the enforcer, and I had to say, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this a go. My other system wasn't working for me, so I have to have a go at this. And it was incredible. Not easy, but incredible. And I've never looked back, basically. So I just needed that one person, that one voice, to open my eyes to the fact that the way I was writing just wasn't working for me personally. And ever since then, I've been producing more content and better content than I ever was before. And I'm not getting burnt out anymore, which is good. Still managing to finish books and stuff. And I'm shooting through first drafts, like as in Pantster style with my writing contracts. And yes, as is the curse of the Pantster, I'm having to do a lot of rewrites. The rewrites can be sometimes arduous, and they can be many. And I think all Pantsters will be able to relate to that. You do end up sometimes with a real mess at the end that you've got to go back and work on a lot. But I found for me personally, when I'm working on a completed manuscript, which is something I never did before, with a finish line in sight, it gives me that motivation to get there, rather than I'm just at the planning stage, I've still got to write the whole book. So ever since then, I started finishing projects to a submission level, and it was only 1 year after Fiona's masterclass that Wesley Booth Super Sleuth was published.
Be able to pronounce that.
Yeah, I know. I got tongue-tied there on my own book. And that was only 1 year later, so Fiona takes full credit for that book. I think was already running it during the course, but she'll take full credit for it. And then I've now had my second and third books came out this year. My first book was the first book in the Hunger Be Full series, and
this is book 2.
Yeah, book 2 just came out about a month ago. And I've got books, my 4th and 5th books coming out next year. So yeah, it's been...
It's a
pretty
huge
much,
turnaround.
yeah. Like ever since that moment, I've been producing a lot of books, and it's sort of given me that push, that extra step that I needed. So far, my switch has turned out to be the final hurdle I needed to personally jump to really figure out and get everything sort of coming together, because I'd done, by that stage, 20 years of the theory, and I just had to bring it all together. Anyway, so that's pretty much my story. That's my pep talk for today. And hopefully my story has been interesting for people and made them think about their own writing. Maybe you've thought about switching before, or maybe you haven't. Switching between a plotter and a pantster, or to a planster to a pantster, or to a planster to a plotter. Maybe you don't think you can do it, but trust me, you can. If you need to, you can do it. If it's what you need to do. I was the least likely person to switch, so there's probably worse, but I say I was the least likely person to switch, and I managed to do it, and it's led to great success. So, in summary, how long was I supposed to go for? Am I going over time?
It's flexible. We're flexible.
So, in summary, perhaps if you're struggling to finish NaNoWriMo and you're a plotter, then consider, like me, taking the plunge and making the switch to the wild, carefree world of pantsting. Or maybe vice versa, you might be a pantster who doesn't realise you need to make the switch to becoming a plotter. That's what you need to do to change it up. And hopefully, whatever you do will improve your productivity and your writing. Switching, like it did for me, might give your writing the kick into gear that it needs to take it to the next level, and basically to get projects finished to a high submission level ready, which I think is what most of us are aiming for. And you've got to always be open to new ideas and changing up your writing. And I still am. I may go back to being a plotter one day, who knows, if I need to, if I find the pantsting thing starts to not work for me, I have to reconsider. Maybe a plantster might be my next step.
Find that halfway.
But I might be addicted to pantsting now, I think. So now I've got a new problem. So thanks for listening. And even if my talk today isn't giving you the final push to get over the line and win NaNoWriMo this year, because we haven't got that long left, and you might only be on 1,000 words or something, but maybe it's giving you something to think about for next year, or the April one, the camp NaNoWriMo. So maybe like me,
in general as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you don't have to just write.
You don't have to write during
and
November,
April. So yeah, maybe like me, you need to make the switch. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Adam. Yay. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat who are saying, "Oh God, maybe I am addicted to plotting." So I think there's a few kindred spirits out there.
Admitting you have a problem is the first step.
Yeah, it's the step. So my Insanity's Department says, I have one folder with 23 works in progress and another 12 folders with more works in progress. So
that is nothing.
Yeah.
No, that's
I've got a collection of folders as well with things in it that I'm like, this will never see the light of day again. But that's fine. It's all, and I think writing as well, you've got a right to improve your craft as well. So be a very rare person who writes their first book and gets it immediately published.
I'm pretty sure, I think it's attributed to Ray Bradbury, but who said you have to write 1 million words before you write your first good one. I think it was Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, which is a bit like terrifying.
Yeah,
but you just got to keep plugging away at it if it's something that you want to make a career out of. But hey, does anyone have any questions either in the chat in Internet Land or in the room for Adam while we've got him here? Anything that you want to
questions
ask about? About his writing process? We're all good? Wow, you must. Yeah, go for it.
This might be the contract. I know you probably can't say too much about it. Is it like about when you'll finish or how much you'll write every day? Or?
Yeah, so how much is explain the contract a little bit more.
You mean as far as your word counts and stuff, or?
Yeah, it's just a commitment, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I do have now with my books, I have dates I have to finish my books by, so that is the best motivation you can imagine. So you don't have the option of not doing it by a certain time. Sometimes that forces you down the pantster route because you just have to write something and think, I've got to get it done. And then my editor can help me make sure it's not terrible. But so with contracts now, that's, I don't know if contracts really suit the plotter too much. They would. Pantsters they suit as well, because publishers just want you to blast out your next book. But
Fiona's one was more about you want to say
work out what you're publishing contracts.
No, for your work in progress, sort of work out what an average book count is for that genre that you're looking at, and then divide that. Work out how long you want to spend on that, whether it be a year or 4 months, and divide that by the number of words you have to write to
Yes,
get how
sorry,
many
I
words you have to write a
misunderstood the
day.
question. I thought you were talking about publishing contracts,
Yeah,
but I'd
yeah.
already forgotten that I talked
Yeah.
about Fiona's writing contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah, she basically, it doesn't have to be a month, could be over 3 months you want to write
Mm.
a book and you split it down. Because she says you can have your writing contract only be a few hundred words every day.
Yeah.
As long as you know you're going to be able to stick to
Yeah.
it and you're going to be strict with
Achievable,
yourself.
yeah.
And you've got to stop after those 300 words.
Yeah,
is
which
what
is
I'm
the
saying.
hard part
Mm.
as well, I find.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm also a Fiona McIntosh graduate, so
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. There's lots of people that have done it now.
Yeah, it's excellent. And
popular course.
yeah, and the contracts are really sort of good way to give you some structure, I think. But you've got to stick to it, which is something I'm not great at. But
because it
yeah.
imitates a real I think it imitates a real publishing contract. Like if
Yeah.
your publisher says you've got to get this book done in the next 6 months,
Yeah.
then you're going to think to yourself, right, I've got to have a first draft done in 4 months or something.
Yeah.
So then you almost have to do that sort of system where you say, how many words will that be a day? Because I haven't got the option of not doing it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it
Yeah.
suits. It sort of gets you in the gear of what you're going to have to do
Yeah.
when you get that publishing
and that
deal.
idea of
yeah.
writing every day as well that we talked about.
Mm.
Yeah. Any other questions for Adam? No?
Does everyone write every day? Yeah.
I would like to, but I'm not very good at it. I'm still a bit wishy-washy. Sorry, Fiona.
Because that used to be always they said write every day. But
Yeah.
I think that if it doesn't work for you, you might only want to write weekdays and then weekends
exactly.
off and
So
stuff.
I think the thing is writing consistently.
Yeah, consistent.
Which is a
yeah.
great way to do it.
Consistent's a good
Yeah.
word. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Well, I think we're all good. So thank you very much for joining us,
No
Adam.
problems.
Thanks. It's been so good, and so
Next year, hopefully, I'll be doing.
yes, come
Nanowrimo.
join us. Be one of us.
That'd be fantastic.
Yes, we've already got Margot sucked in from
Yeah,
last
she do it
time,
next
so
year.
we'll just we'll just
She's-
collect
have you made her
authors.
sign anything? Or,
I haven't, but I'm going to
no?
be knocking on the door, being like,
Yeah.
Margot, here you go. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to jump into a half-hour sprint now.
Wow.
So yeah, half hour. Give you a chance. You don't have to write for the whole half hour, but it'll give us a chance to sort of stretch your legs, go and get some food or some drinks or anything like that you need. Remember, we talked about OH&S. Like, you got to take care of yourself, especially because we're doing a protracted long sprints today. So we're gonna. I'm just bringing it up on my phone.
Heavy doses of sugar. That's
Yes,
good.
I
Yeah.
have a bowl of lollies over there, but I'm not allowed to touch it at the moment. I might get my tech to bring it up. So we're going to do 30 minutes. Nah. Technology is great until it fails. So, yeah. Yeah, here we go. All right, 30 minutes, and we're going to bring up a photo in a sec, hopefully. Yes?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this is if you need your little inspiration thing. I love this photo. I just like, is he falling or is he levitating?
Yeah, that's cool.
Dun,
I
dun,
like
dun.
that.
It's good. All right, guys, we're going to put 30 minutes on the clock. We're going to start now. All right, stop writing, guys.
Welcome back.
Yeah, hopefully that was a productive half an hour for you. I ate some sushi. And I have not yet drunk my coffee, but I've, you know, got it rolling. So yeah, how did you go?
I'm coming along. I'm nearly at 37k, I think. Yeah, just over 36k 900.
Nice.
So a little bit behind, but
Doing a thing. I love it. Yeah, as I said previously, I'm at, around 18,000. So I got some catching up to do, even though I'm not going to hit the 50k. I want to get at least to my 25.
Awesome. Halfway.
I think is my new goal. Yep, 25 to 30, depending on how we go. So I wanted to use this little time to talk about some strategies to increase your word count if you wanted to do that last little push and you're behind. If you're not, then hey, just keep doing you. You do you, man. It's clearly working for you. And I want to talk about some things that are not so great ways to hit your 50k. And I'll preface this story with saying it worked for me at the time because of where I was and what I was doing at the time.
I see.
But my second year that I won NaNoWriMo, I stayed up all night with a friend and wrote through and hit it at about 8 in the morning on the second to last day of Nano. Yeah. It was a long night, a long slog, and then I slept forever. But
you
yeah,
validated
I did validate first. I did hit my 50k. It was a long night. I was at uni at the time, so I didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work for me now with my 6-day jobs, but that's fine. Yeah. And it was just about, I think at that point I had really just let go of like being beholden to like making the plot work how I had intentionally planned. It was just like, just write it, you can fix it in post. It's good fun.
Yeah.
Have you done something like that ever?
No.
No? Are you one of those special people who just writes solidly? Or?
On the times when I have one, I have been very consistent and written a daily or close to the daily each day, and if I did get a little bit behind, then at least I wrote a couple hundred words.
Yeah.
And then I caught it up the next day or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting to the point in my high 30s where I'm a little bit behind. Probably not going to get there at the end of this month, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's good.
Might try the story again next year.
Yeah. I don't know, anyone else got any like terrible things they did to achieve their 50k? I'm looking at Calliope. I know she's done a few long night write-ins.
I have done some terrible things.
Yeah.
My first year that I won, I discovered I'm a rebel.
Yep.
Which means, in nano terms, I didn't write a novel.
Yep.
I wrote a half novel.
Yeah.
And about 3 short stories that were completely unrelated.
But you still got the 50k.
And I still got the 50k.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a nano rebel because I write things that I've started before November 1st.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's fun times. People are complimenting you on your 40k.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not at 40k yet, but I'm nearly
there. You're gonna do it. Yeah. I guess we talked about this in the first stream, but strategies that you can use, like Adam was saying with the contract is, if you maybe you're not going to hit the 50k, but if you want to finish this book, what you can do is set out how many words you need to go and maybe assign a new contract for yourself and still keep plugging away. And who knows, inspiration might strike. You might have a couple of big days. It is possible to hit the 50k still at this point. If you can write, depending on how much do you have to write a day?
Just over 2,000 a
Yeah,
day.
that's not too bad. That's only an extra
doable.
400 on top.
Yeah.
Only. It's fine. But yeah, using things like the Pomodoro technique and the forest app. Callie, what's the forest app?
It's just called Forest.
It's just called Forest. Okay, there you go. To sort of set those focused work times, because I'm really bad at being at home.
Forest.
Oh, there you go. You found it. Stay focused, be present.
Forestapp.cc. That's pretty easy to remember.
Yeah. And sort of like working with what works for you, but staying focused and sort of putting in the time to write your novel, and I'm one of those ones who'll like, they're like, all right, like a sentence, and then I'll go and check Facebook in case anything important has happened in the last 30 seconds.
100 words, and then update my word count,
Yep.
and it'll go up by 100 words.
Yay! I try to only update once a day
Yeah.
now.
On my good days, I like to write all day, and then if I've got the opportunity to stay up till midnight, I write all the way up until midnight, and I'll update my word count for the last time for that day right before midnight.
Yeah.
Because I like to know that that day's word count was in that day.
Yeah.
Not have to go back and edit my word count manually. I like to make sure it was done that day.
Yeah. That's good.
And then I can still write some more words and then not think about that until the next day. So you sort of start with a little bit of an extra start to the day.
Yeah.
So, you know, that extra half hour after
Yeah,
midnight.
there's extra, like, 100 words or whatever you've got.
So you got a mini head start to the
Yeah, which is
day.
good. I think that's a good psychological thing as well. Like, you've already started that day. So maybe I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lately I've had a lot of work, so getting up early,
Yeah.
like this stuff, so,
So you
staying
write
up late
early?
has not
Okay.
been fun.
Do you write earlier in the morning now?
No.
No.
I get up early enough.
And maybe that's something you can look at. Look at where your spare time is at this point in the last few days leading up. Like, do you have the option of getting up a half hour early and putting some time in there, potentially writing on lunch breaks at work if you have it. Looking if you've got some spare time anywhere in your day, and even just like writing on your phone. So,
Sorry, just noticing things in chat.
yeah, I'll share with the class.
Oh, okay, then if they want to be shared, well, they shouldn't have been written. People who have been pulling all-nighters, like Callie,
Yeah, remembered you read it.
writing while drunk, which
We do not recommend for anyone under the age of 18.
necessarily a good thing.
Yeah,
Do it responsibly if you're going to do it.
yeah.
I will admit that I have used some alcohol to create some inspirational moments.
We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah. It has been referred to as the Hemingway technique.
The Hemingway
in chat.
technique. I enjoy that. Yeah. Kelly says getting 15-30 minutes earlier definitely a help. Finding character who doesn't speak with any contractions. That's a good
Yes.
one. I take contractions out,
I
like
have-
when I'm writing NaNoWriMo.
Yeah. I have made cannot one, which is
Two
normally
words.
one word.
Yep, it's two
now
words,
2
Nad.
words.
Yep.
In
I'm
November,
going
it's
to
2 words.
Shakespeare it up. Yeah,
Cannot.
I have no contractions. And it helps because at this point in my story, they're royalty, so they speak very formally anyway.
Yes.
Yes. So that's a good strategy. Lunch break for writing. Yep. I find replace for my entire manuscript added 400 words. What did you find replace, Kate? All contractions. Yep. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of strategies out there to still sort of help you to, even if you don't get to that 50K, like sort of claw back that deficit if you're behind, or increase your lead if you're not, because you can validate at this point as well.
Yes.
Has anybody validated yet? Yeah, we got one in the room. I love it. I can't validate because I haven't got enough. But that's fine.
I am, no.
Yeah. I find caffeine can be a hindrance and a help to my writing. I do enjoy being sort of like, I find it whether it's psychological or not, I feel like it helps me type faster.
Okay.
Whether or not that's an actual thing. Simone ignores her friends and family and committee group chats until she hits her daily words. I like it. Yep. And I think it's good to have somebody who holds you accountable as well.
Which is why I like Nano.
Yeah, which is why Nano really works very well. So yeah, what else was I going to talk about? Strategies. I was going to talk about, where you should be up to, but I guess that really depends on what you want to achieve. What's our word count supposed to be for today, Ali? 1,000. Wow.
Yes, it's day one.
We're all ahead.
41,666, I believe.
Wow. Is anyone at the daily? Nope. Yep. Couple of people are saying, yep. Good to know that I'm not alone in my underachieving. Yeah.
You're an achiever.
Yeah, I use my TV as a second screen for Nano IRC, so I can't use it for TV. Excellent hack. I love it if you can do it. Yep. I feel like I need to set up parental controls on Netflix. So
That is an option too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think there's lots of cool ways that you can sort of work on it. Unfortunately, it does come down to self-discipline, I think, in the end. And that's something I have to work on personally, but we'll get there. Yeah. Is there anything else in particular that you use, Ali? Do you use bribes?
As I mentioned last time, I used the chocolate bribe previously. I bought myself the nice chocolate. Set it up every 10,000 words. When I got there, I got to eat my good nice chocolate.
Yeah.
Next year, I'll probably plan something a little bit more
elaborate.
Yes. I like the idea of doing like a nano advent calendar.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So every time you hit certain word goals, you get.
So every 2,000 words, maybe say.
Yeah.
That gives me 25 things. I get something.
Yeah.
I don't know what yet.
So it might be like a whole, like so bigger gifts or like to yourself rather than like you know.
You can now watch that episode of that show.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
You can now sleep.
You can sleep. I think you should probably sleep more than that.
Yeah,
but
self-care.
Yeah, self-care.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool idea, like doing bigger incentives, because I used to find the chocolate bar, it worked for me for a little while. Like I definitely smashed it out one year with that, but it just hasn't like
last year as well, I tried to ration out chocolate, so I wouldn't eat any chocolate that day until I got my daily words.
Yeah.
Then I could have a piece of chocolate.
Yeah. How did that work out for you?
Most of the time it worked in the first week.
In the first week, yeah, and then you got into the rest of it. Yeah.
But I won. I got there.
A good way as well that I personally find is potentially also, I get a lot of inspiration from the nano sort of, what am I saying, from like the list of people who are traditionally published and self-published for NaNoWriMo. There is a list on the website. I think it's about 1,000 novels now that are like technically NaNoWriMo novels that have since been published. About 400 of them have been traditionally published. And I have a selection, if you can just hold that here. I have a selection here, which is excellent. And I find this like really inspirational because there's some really big famous novels out there that have been... I really should have planned this.
Yeah, we could have had this from the start, but it's okay. I am now furniture.
Yay. That are, you know, published novels. Probably the most famous one for a long time was, there it is, Water for Elephants, which is one of the, very early on, this one. So Sarah Gruen has had other novels published, but she used NaNoWriMo to draft this novel. Which was also sold very well, turned into a movie with Robert Pattinson, and Reese Witherspoon, yes.
It's probably on the cover.
Yeah, this cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's them.
So that's
several elephants.
Yeah. So you know that's really cool. And the Night Circus is probably the other really big one.
Also
that
made
was.
into a movie.
Is it?
Yeah, the first book, that one.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen it. No, I think you're crazy, Ali. Maybe it's optioned for film, but they haven't.
Maybe it was optioned.
Yeah. So.
There's a trailer for it.
Oh, really? Oh, well, there you go. Or is that the book trailer? We'll get back to you on that one.
Movie trailer. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but there's a whole lot of other ones.
It has been optioned. That's what it says.
Cool. Wool was initially a series of nano novels, and it was originally published as, is it self-published, Callie? Self-published as, and this was 4 novellas initially. And then he got traditionally published in a big form. And this is another really big, popular book as well. So I guess I'm saying, like, it is possible to sort of go that extra step with your nano novels. And I find that personally quite inspiring, and that's what keeps me going, even after nano.
I've read books that I've just picked off the shelf in the library, bookshelf, and then realised much later that they were a nano novel.
So yeah, there's a few here. I'll just run you through. Shades of Milk and Honey, Mary Robinette Kowal, which is a fantasy, urban Regency fantasy.
Okay, cool.
Next Together, which is the YA one. Time, Souls Meeting Over Time. Cruel by Jennifer Albin. These are just some that we found in the library before we started. Rainbow Ralph Fangirl, if anyone's a YA reader, that's a really big one and popular one. Forest of Hands and Teeth.
One I've read.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Did not know it was a nano novel until last week.
Yeah, there you go. See, they're sneaky like that. Carrie Ryan, Zombies. And
last one in our
Unexpected Rain, which is not one I've heard of, but sounds really good, which is sort of a sci-fi crime thriller. But yeah, so there's a whole range of them. Check them out on the Nanowrimo website if you're looking for some inspiration. Also, they have an archive of all the old pep talks as well, which is great. Just lean on it.
Just lean on
Yeah.
this. Lean on the work of your peers.
Yeah, exactly.
Can rest on the shoulders of giants.
It's true. Oh god, sorry, my computer's just having a moment. No, we're good. We're okay. We're okay. We're okay. We're okay. Are there any famous Nano novels that you like that you want to share with the class? Jane Austen with Magic for Shades of Milk and Honey. Yeah, I'm pretty
I'm
keen
going to read this
to.
now then.
Yeah, I want to read that one. That's not one that I was familiar with
My
until.
hands. Too bad.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. But yeah. Is there anything in particular, you guys, any strategies you employ to keep yourself going? Or is it just
Just keep writing.
just keep writing? Doing.
What I'm doing. And the
Yeah. People holding you
You
accountable
should
and
be
then.
writing.
Yep, and yelling at you.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's shame is a good motivator in the short term. I think maybe not in the long term.
well,
If it
I'm
works.
doing what I'm supposed to do, they cheer me on.
Yeah,
That's
that's good. Just as long as you got the support as well when they cheer you on. Andrew ditched his story and started a new one.
I mean, I've done that this
Yeah.
year already as well.
Yeah,
so it
twice. Oh, twice. Yeah.
works.
Yeah. You've only done it once.
I've done it once, and then I've got another idea that I might be shoehorning
Yeah, shoehorning.
into it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I think that's really if you're finding a story's not flowing
Oh, yeah.
and you don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, 4 chapters in and you already don't know
Yeah,
what you're doing.
and the goal of Nano is get the word count. So if you find, I have heard people who've written for a week and then gone, nope, I hate everything about
Yep.
this. I have no idea what I'm doing, and they've started a new story and they've loved it, and have just smashed it out the park.
Yep.
So it's definitely a valid way to hit your 50k and keep that first week's writing though. Like you earned those words. They're blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah, it's all good. We might, speaking of blood, sweat, and tears, we might do another sprint. Hopefully the technology is working for me this time.
Hopefully.
What?
In the meantime, just
Yeah.
watch us sing.
You can do a dance, Ellie. Do 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 do. No, it's not playing the game. Can we have 15 minutes on the clock? Yes. You can choose the photo. So yeah, we're going to do 15 minutes.
Thank you, webmaster.
Yes. Oh, what photo are we going to have? Let's wait. Bated breath. Oh, it's like,
Cobbles at rainy night.
or is it blood lava?
I'd just say it would be like a red neon light.
Blava.
And
I'm a big fan of blood lava.
Cobbles.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping it's a nice night.
I feel like this is, where we go. I'm a lot more like fantastical in my writing.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
weird because I'm now writing a fantasy
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. All right.
But I'm feeling neon light.
Yeah. You
pretty
feeling
cool.
neon light? I'm feeling somebody just got stabbed.
It's like your red hallway last
Yeah, exactly. The red hallway. All right. We're going to do 15 minutes on the clock, and we're going to start now.
Stop writing. Everyone,
Welcome
hands
back.
up. Hands off your laptops. Do the. I'm not writing. Good. Well done, team. I hope you're doing this at home too, because otherwise I'll know. I can see you. I can see what you're doing. How'd you go? How'd you go in that sprint, Ali?
I wrote 0 words.
Well done. That's a great achievement. I wrote 20 words, so also well done.
You beat me. Yay.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, it's hard enough to stop to think, and you know, I'm off my plan slightly because I'm, you know, I planned like one perspective, and now I've been doing 2 perspectives, and now I'm with the other person, and I'm just like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing now? And this is like planting is, you know, it's a method. It works. This time we had everyone on the chat go, oh, Ellen got 57. Nice. Murray got 50 and drank some coffee. Good work.
Very loudly.
Good work, guys. Andrew hit the 30k wall hard. Newport helps. Well done.
That's good.
I mean, 30k. I feel like it's definitely a wall. Once you get around to that point, your novel starts to feel a bit like you've used it probably most of your plan if you're not a very good planner like me. And you got to find a way to keep going for the last 20.
This is where the ninjas attack.
This is where the ninjas attack. Yes, if you ever get stuck, just have ninjas. I mean, you know, you can take them out later, or maybe your novel is suddenly set in feudal Japan. This is fine.
Yeah.
Ariel got 170. Nice. Caitlin got 287. Right Time got 168 and went for a walk. I mean, that's pretty impressive that you went for a walk and also still got that many words. So, well done. Yeah. And my insanity got, I put another chapter and ate most of your M&M bag.
M&M's have letters, that counts.
Yeah, count each M&M as like 10 letters.
Yeah. M and M. 3 words.
All right, so what are we talking about this time, Ali?
We are going to talk about what next.
What next? As in, like,
what do you do next?
That's why I'm
What
asking you,
happens
Ali.
After November.
Oh, you do like I was trying to do like a who's on first kind of bit, but you missed it. You ruined it. You ruined the bit. Anyway, so after November, what do you do other than sleep for a long time and eat
After
a bunch
that,
of Christmas?
I mean, you can't sleep a month.
I mean, you know, you could, but it's probably not advisable.
Probably not.
I feel like it's like too much sleep. Yeah, that's just as unhealthy as not enough sleep. Me as a doctor, I'm not a doctor. I have a science degree, but not in sleep.
So do I. Also not in sleep.
But we will act as if we did. Yeah, so what do you do in November? After November. I think a lot of the guides suggest taking a break. Especially if you finished your novel draft. Like what I never usually tend to finish the story in November. Like I'll hit 50,000 words, but the story is a bit longer than that. It might be another 10,000 words or so.
Yep.
But I try and get to the end of like the story, and then step away from it. In some cases, for several years, and never look at it again. Although I intend to go back to
Or
them.
in my case, sometimes it's the next year's story again.
Yeah, and then you rewrite it, and it's,
Yep.
you know, give it another go.
Yep.
But ideally, what I'm going to try this year, or what I would be if I wasn't working on another book during my main times, take me December to, you know, finish the story, and then, you know, if you still have some weeks left, take a break. Maybe take a whole month where you just don't do that story. Like, read books, play video games, maybe start another story if you want, but like get away from that novel, and then come back to it. Because sometimes when you're trying to like revise something, if it's too fresh in your mind, you're not really going to see what you've actually written. You're going to see what, you know, you were thinking at that time, and like the story that's in your head. This is why, you know, you can read sentences and you think that, you know, you've included all this stuff, and then someone else will read it like, oh, what's this character's name though? Like, you haven't actually said that. But because it's in your head, you know, you've just missed that detail.
Missing out plot details because you've planned them but then haven't written them.
Yeah, I do that a lot in my books in terms of descriptions. I'll forget to describe like what the room is or what people look like, and then someone else will read my story and be like, but like, where are they? And like, what do they look like? Who is this person to this thing? You failed to mention that this is their mother.
That's the point of draft 0.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's going to be until you've written it.
And so, it's good to have a bit of distance and perspective, but also, getting someone else to read your book.
Yeah.
If you feel brave enough to share that, you know, terrifying 0 draft. If you don't, that's fine too. A 0 draft can be very personal, very raw. Maybe you want to go through it again, bit of a go through and trying to fix up some of those things. All those times where you couldn't think of a name and you just did like brackets name like I did, you might want to go and fix that. any kind of scenes you abandoned with notes being like, and then this happens. Maybe you can fill in those gaps. Fill in the gaps. Fill in the gaps, I think, is a good next step.
Yeah. The Nano website itself carries the Now What Months page, which they suggest January and February. Take a break in December.
Yeah, I think if you're like, especially if you're in uni or high school, wherein those are your summer months and you actually have the time off from uni and high school, it definitely makes it a good time to, you know, start revising your novel.
Check out the Nano website. They carry plenty of resources you can use. They have several years worth of archived resources now because they've been going for a while.
Many, many years.
Oh yeah. Blog posts, various resources written by published authors giving their advice. I'm scrolling through them right now. There's pages and pages of them.
Yeah, do that at your leisure. Maybe not right now. Maybe like after November.
When you're done, but have a look.
On December 1st. This is your homework.
What can you do to revise? And if you're planning on publishing what you've written, what do you need to do to publish it?
Yeah. I mean, what you need to do to publish it is, you know, is edit your novel. There was a time where, I think it still happens sometimes, where people will write, you know, finish Nanowrimo and then immediately upload that document right into like Amazon and like self-publish this terrifying zero draft, which is, you know, a thing you can do, but maybe don't do that. Maybe maybe edit your novel first. Like if you want to self-publish, that's fantastic. But editing is still an important part of that process, regardless of how you decide to publish your book. Just, you know, for your own quality's sake. Your zero draft is probably full of, I don't know, everyone's zero draft is full of terrible mistakes.
Yes.
And like, you know, unless you're a very slow writer and they're also perfect. I don't know, some people are perfect. It's really hard to like say things without, you know, someone being like, but I'm not like that. But I don't know, you know what you are, hopefully. But please edit.
Yes. Callie has a suggestion in the
what does
chat.
Callie say? Callie says,
For December.
Do I have to scroll in the chat?
A ritual novel burning.
What, so you print it off and then just burn it? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, if you decide that what you wrote is trash, print it off, burn it, but maybe in like a, you know, environmentally friendly way.
Or you could burn it with editing purpose.
Yeah, like a metaphorical way.
Metaphorically burn away.
No, you can burn a printed copy, but don't delete the file. This is assuming that you didn't just handwrite your entire novel and therefore it's your only copy.
Yes.
Don't delete your entire thing. Even if you finish your like zero draft and you decide it's terrible, that's okay. Like you can rewrite it, but it's easy to rewrite if you still have it, as opposed to just abandoning all hope.
Yes. And the YA jungle itself, the jungle speaks, suggesting reading aloud really helps with finding missing things and words.
Yeah, although I know there are programs you can do that will like read like a text to voice kind of thing. So if you don't want to sit there and read your entire novel, as I know I struggled to do, you can always, you know, plug in chapters and have a robot read your novel, which will probably do a similar kind of thing and help you like hear how it sounds.
Get it to read it to you while you go over a hard copy.
If you're writing a sci-fi with androids, it'll be especially thematic, so maybe it'll inspire you.
Your protagonist is an android? All good.
Yeah, all good. Oh man, that voice would be down. But yeah, so there's a lot of good things. I find sometimes I'll write a zero draft and then actually not really have an idea what I wrote or what the story was or what the plot really is. So that's when I'll even go back to some of the stuff you might do, some of the planning kind of activities you can do, and like plot out the novel with already in mind what I've written and try and plan out like what, you know, what the structure should be. Maybe this could be the point where I move like beats around, track characters, especially if you have multiple perspectives, trying to track who's doing what at what time, and maybe which chapters need to be moved around for it to make sense. Yeah, like using like the snowflake method, which is where you kind of start off writing like a sentence, and then like you kind of each step you like explaining a plot, but in a slightly larger format. That can be a good way to help you work out what the crux of your novel actually is. My novel that like my main novel that I'm working on, my 10-year novel, I spent actually it's not even 10 years yet. It's like I spent 7 years working on a zero draft, which was an off and on Frankenstein of a monster that I then completely rewrote over 18 months, and I finished that a few months ago and then printed off. That process has been very terrifying and fun, I added 50,000 words, only 30,000 words in the process of rewriting it. And then I've printed it off at Officeworks, and I'm kind of very slowly going through it and reading the actual printed word. Because I type everything. I don't have like a handwritten journal. And so seeing it printed, you kind of read it differently as well. So that's a thing you can do if you can afford the like $70 or whatever. Like it's 10 cents a page at Officeworks or your local printing facility.
Yeah.
Don't blow your money on this, but like if you you can find a way to do this. Yeah, that can be a good way to go through it, and print it single-sided, double-spaced, so you can make notes in the margins if you want to do that. That's my advice. Print it off, and then maybe burn it when you're done, or that bind it in like a 3-ring binder as a relic for when you're famous and you can auction it off for $1 million.
Don't burn it.
Don't burn your novel. No. We don't advocate any book burnings.
No. Keep it stored as paper, and it's much more carbon neutral.
Yeah, it's really environmentally unfriendly to burn paper. Especially ink. But yeah. And then there are a lot of programs you can do where you can find like a mentor who is someone who can read, maybe not your zero draft, maybe a slightly more advanced version of your draft, and give you advice. Someone who's a bit more involved than a beta reader, someone, like there are a lot of paid mentorships you can get and like grants that you can apply for to pay someone for their time to consult you on your novel.
That's good for potential winners of Nano.
Yeah.
Because some of this year's winner prizes include some subscription or discount subscriptions to certain online mentorship programs through websites.
Yeah, and that's it's a really helpful thing. There are a lot of...
Those of you who participated in Double Up Donation Day may have had an email about that already.
Oh.
I'm probably not going to try it out myself because I have no purpose for this novel. But if I had, maybe I'd give it a go. There are online support mechanisms that they can help you out with your planning and plotting, with your writing, and for mentorship feedback.
Yeah, and a mentor is someone who can give you more than just feedback about your novel specifically, because you can also just hire like an editor who can just edit your book and tell you, how to make it better. The mentor is hopefully someone who can also give you like industry advice, and maybe if they're hopefully they're a publisher or author, can tell you publishers that may be suitable for you to like send to, or help you find an agent, or advise you of places we can find an agent. Ideally, it's a relationship that can will be like be just someone who can help you out. And there are things like Author Mentor Match, which you can find on Twitter. If you search #AuthorMentorMatch to find more about it. They do a really cool, like a free mentorship program. You have to apply, and only X many people every year or every round get in. But they match you up with someone who will, read your book, give you advice. One of our friends did it in the previous round, and has since revised her novel and landed an agent, and it's all very exciting. So it works. There are people it's actually helped if you're looking for a writing career. So.
And how does one land an agent?
It's actually similar to the same process you might to get a publishing contract, where you'll submit. You have to depend on see what the submission guidelines are. That's the thing also to consider. Everywhere you submit to will have submission guidelines where they'll say they want the full manuscript or just the first 3 chapters or the first page, depending on how much they decide they feel in reading. And please follow those guides, because a lot of these places get a lot of applicants, and anything they can use to cut you out of the race, they will. So follow the rules. And you usually have to submit a synopsis. I can say words.
Synopsis.
Synopsis, which would be like a 1 to 2 page summary of your entire novel, where you want to put in all the plot details. So like all the twists, all the major characters. It's not a blurb. It's kind of spelling out all the major things that happen in your novel. So the potential agent or publisher knows what's happening. Then you'll have like a cover letter, which is not unlike a job cover letter, but they don't want a long list of your job history and interests and high school grades. No one cares about your high school grades out of high school. That's a fun fact. No one ever cares about that. But yeah, you'll have an introduction. This is my book of X many pages, a bit of just a little byline of a couple lines, and you might even do like an author bio, which is the thing you have to learn to write. All of it sounds very boring and difficult, but it's very necessary in this industry. It's because it's a business, it's an industry, just like any other industry, and you need to represent yourself well to get noticed. Oh, it sounds exhausting. And you thought writing the book was the hard part. Oh, son, you don't know. But don't let us dissuade you. It's possible. People do it all the time. If you ever walk into a library or to like a bookshop and see how many books there are, like all those people did that exact same thing and they got there. Why can't you? Why can't you, Ali? Well, I mean, you know.
Well, my computer's frozen temporarily, but I've got it working.
You need a working computer.
I don't really want to start handwriting right now. Yeah.
But, you know, do you know much about agents and what are the pros and cons to having one?
No, not really.
Should I talk about that, I guess? I know some publishing places won't take manuscripts from just authors. You have to go through an agent.
Yep.
Some publishing houses will. It depends on the publishing house.
Depends on what you're publishing too, I guess.
Yeah, if you're publishing, self-publishing, you probably don't need an agent.
Yep.
Agents are useful. They're like a little fancy lawyer person. They're not quite lawyers, but they read contracts.
They're agents.
They're, you know, they're their own thing. Agents are a thing. But yeah, they'll read like contracts and make sure you don't do something terrible, which really happened to this person who like signed away the rights to their entire, like anything they would ever write in their lifetime to this one publishing house. Don't do that. That's a very terrifying contract. You'll be locked in for life. But yeah, someone who can read the fine print if you don't want to do that and help you negotiate a good deal and, you know, work out and all the kind of technical stuff that maybe you don't want to deal with as a writer. They do take a cut of your profit, which is the kind of, you know, maybe one of the cons. But, I mean, ultimately,
you're paying them for
my
their
opinion
service.
is that, yeah, like, it's better to have more people on your side. But, you know, if you're very competent at, like, legal contracts and negotiating deals, maybe you feel you don't need one, and then you don't have to have one. It's entirely up to you. Yeah. Do you have any experience with, like, drafting or restructuring a novel draft? Have you ever gone back? So actually, in rewriting a novel for the second time you wrote that novel.
Yes.
How did you go about that? Did you have to consider, like, look at the structure? Did you replot?
Yes, I replotted my novel. I originally had 3 protagonists, and one of them sort of appeared the first time round. The second time I wrote it, I had 4 characters in mind, and I'd actually plotted some more structure into them, making sure they all got equal page time, I guess, not screen time, but making sure we had a nice good balance, and yeah, trying to get that to work out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Have you gone back to that novel since?
Not since, no.
Well, you know, you always can.
Yeah, and I can probably do that in our next sprint.
Because you haven't burned it, so therefore it's still
Because I
there.
haven't burned it.
Don't burn your books. I can't reiterate this enough. Ignore our previous ranting about burning books. Knowledge is important.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to do another sprint for 15. Let's go 15 minutes. Oh, you probably heard me talking for a long time, so you're just like, shut up, Simone. I'm like, that's fair. I'm sick of my own voice too. What's the image this time? Let's take a look. As I
Still a pillar?
The loading music. Ah, there we go.
It's a woman looking over her shoulder at you.
She looks very, like, angry. Or
It
like
might just be the red jacket.
disappointed. I feel like it's like someone behind her did something really dumb. She's just like judgmental, like, yeah. Maybe you made a
someone
pun.
insulted her jacket.
No, you made a pun, and she's like, really, this is the time. This is the time I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, she's definitely doing
Getting
some
a
eye
divorce,
rolling.
Ellie.
Yep.
Yeah, because you were married to this woman.
So why is this woman so angry? Where is she? It looks like a nice place.
It looks like a nice little like boho hipster
Yeah.
bar.
Or a
There's some lights there. I like this.
tropical island paradise at night.
It just reminds me of like this one location in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Good show. Everyone should watch it. Just turn this thing into like, what shows am I watching, Simone?
No.
No. We won't do
So
that.
let's start the sprint.
Let's start the sprint. Everyone work out where you were from last time. Hands on your keyboards. And
Go.
Go.
All right, stop writing, guys.
Stop writing.
Hands up. Hands up.
Watch your laptops. Well done.
Raise the roof. Congratulations, we have successfully completed another write-in.
Wow.
Woo! So 3.5 hours of live time. So that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations, guys.
Much longer than our usual.
Yeah.
We scared right time.
Yeah, sorry, right time.
Turn your volume down.
Yeah, or don't.
Nah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to my co-hosts, Simone and Ali, and Mel, who is off camera. Thanks, Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
We hope you've had a good time. We hope this has been a productive time for you, and we wish you all the best with the last few days of NaNoWriMo. You'll be able to see me and Simone sometime in the new year. We're going to start doing our monthly streams again, so keep an eye out for that. And you'll see Ali and Simone at a couple of other meetings, I'm sure. What have you guys got coming up?
All right,
for the Adelaide group?
so this last week, the only one we've really got planned, it's going to be a big Friday. It's the 30th.
Last day.
It's the last day. I have the day off, so from 12 o'clock at Ctiy in Rundle Street. I'm going to be there. We're going to be with laptops. We're going to have to do a mad dash. If you are 10,000 words behind, come along. If you're 500 words behind, come along. If you're ahead, come along. We'll all get through this together. We'll celebrate everyone getting over that line. We'll,
Or whatever you get.
Maybe if I can find a budget to like throw minties at you or something,
Yeah.
like, yeah, there'll be rewards. It'll be a fun
Toward
time.
you.
Towards you, not at you. That would be
Yeah.
the punishment.
A
if you
safe
don't
philosophy. Yeah.
We do not
Speed of the
advocate
minties will depend on how you're going.
damage towards rights.
Drop in whenever you finish work if you're working. If you have to run off to work because you're a hospo kid, like some of us have been in the past, do that too. We'll be there until Chibo closes / kicks us out.
It's gonna be good.
Hopefully we'll have all got over the line by that point. But yeah, that'll be a good fun time. So join us.
Yeah. Well, good luck for the rest of the month. We wish you all the best in your writing journey, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.